Hi guys, welcome to my channel Cooking Diaries. Today I am going to show you how to make spice cake. Instead of regular layers, I am going to make my cake as a bundt cake today, and then I will transform my cake into something that looks like a pumpkin. So make sure to stick around until the end of the video to see it. Alright, let's get started. To make our spice cake, we would need 3 cups of all-purpose flour, 2 cups of regular white sugar, 2 teaspoons of cinnamon powder, 1/4 teaspoon of ground ginger, half a teaspoon of allspice, 1/8 teaspoon each of cardamom, cloves and nutmeg. I also have half a teaspoon of salt and 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda. For our wet ingredients, we would need half a cup of milk, half a cup of sour cream or yogurt, whatever you have, 1 cup or 2 sticks of unsalted butter at room temperature, 3 large eggs at room temperature and some vanilla for flavoring. For my first step, I am going to sift all of my dry ingredients, that's my flour and all of my spices and salt and baking soda. Give it a quick mix so that all of them are mixed well. Set it aside. Now we will move on to our wet ingredients. Here in another big bowl, I have my butter. I just put it into the microwave for like 30 seconds so that it melts a little bit. To this, I am going to add my half a cup of milk, half a cup of yogurt or sour cream. We will also add my eggs to this. We are also going to add 1 tablespoon of vanilla extract or vanilla essence, whatever you prefer. Give it all a nice mix. To this, we will also add our sugar. Our wet ingredients mixture is ready. Let's assemble both dry and wet together now. Mix all of the ingredients until they come together. It's very important to not over mix this batter. So the batter is ready, guys. It already smells incredible here with all of those spices that we added. I just want to mention that if you don't like any of those spices, you can completely omit them or increase or reduce the quantities according to your taste. You could also add the pumpkin spice or the pumpkin puree to make it more of a pumpkin cake. So we will move on to our next step to prepare our bundt pan to bake our cake. So here I have a little bit of butter that's soft at room temperature. I am going to just apply it across my bundt pan and then sprinkle it with some flour. You don't want to miss this step, guys, because especially the bundt pan has all these grooves in it, so you want to make sure that the butter is all the way in there and it's coated well. You don't want the cake to be stuck in this pan and doesn't come out pretty. That probably is the worst thing to happen. So take your time and apply some butter and flour to your pan to make sure that once the cake is baked, it comes out clean and easily without any issue. Alright, our pan is ready, nicely buttered and floured. I'm going to transfer my batter into the pan now. This is going to be thick batter, guys. It's not going to be thin like normal cakes. Smooth it out a little bit. This is going to bake at 350 degrees Fahrenheit for about 50 minutes. At a 15-minute mark, take a skewer and put it in the center, and if it comes out clean, it's done. If not, leave it for another couple minutes. So I'll show you guys once the cake is ready. Alright guys, my cake baked exactly for 50 minutes. It looks incredible. That color is perfect and it smells so good in my kitchen right now. So I'm going to let this cake cool down in the pan for about half an hour on the countertop, and after half an hour I will show how to take it out of the pan. While this cake is cooling down, I'm going to make another cake like this because we would need 2 bundt cakes to make a pumpkin. So I'm going to show you guys once I have the second cake ready as well. It's been half an hour since my cake has been cooling down, so let's take it out of the pan. Put a plate onto the pan and try to invert it. Give it a tap and you should feel the cake releasing from the pan. Look at that. Nice shape, beautiful color. It's nice and soft and moist. Exactly how we want our cake to be. I'm gonna let this cool down completely before we do any of our frosting and decoration, because if the cakes are even slightly warm, all of the frosting is going to melt and it's going to just become a mess. So I'm going to wait for at least an hour so that my cakes are completely cooled down. Then we'll move on to decorating the cakes. You could just put some glaze and enjoy as is, and this would be delicious spice cake. Alright, meanwhile I'm going to make a quick cream cheese frosting to put in between my both cake layers. So I'm going to put just 8 ounces of cream cheese at room temperature, and I'm going to let it cream. To this we are going to add a splash of vanilla for flavoring. We would need 2 cups of confectioner sugar for this. We are going to add half first and then half once it is mixed in. Start on slow, otherwise the whole sugar is going to fly. And now we are going to add the rest of the sugar. Right, our cream cheese frosting is nice and smooth and ready. If your cream cheese is at a room temperature, then it becomes much easier to make it. If you feel like it's thick or if it's not getting smooth enough, just add a teaspoon or 2 of milk or heavy cream. Things should come together pretty well. Alright, let me transfer this into a piping bag and we'll move on to next step. I made some American buttercream to shape our cakes into the pumpkin. You could click up here for a detailed recipe on how to make this American buttercream. I will also leave a link in the description below. To this I'm going to add some food color to give it that nice bright orange pumpkin color. So I'm going to add some red food color, and I'm going to also add some yellow food color, so that the combination of both would give us the orange that we want. Right, now it looks a nice orange color. It might not look a super dark color, but it would become little darker in color once it goes into the fridge and set a little bit. So I'm going to transfer this buttercream into my piping bag and we will get to decorate our cakes now. We have 2 bundt cakes to make our pumpkin, so I'm going to take some layer off so that it's nice and flat and there is no space in between when we top this on top of each other. So I'm going to add a nice layer of cream cheese frosting that we made onto the cake. Now I'm going to take this cake, invert it and put it on top of it. Now we are going to take the tops of the cake that we cut and kept aside, take a pieces of it and try to fill the hole in between. Now I'm going to apply the orange buttercream that we made around the cake. You want to take a back of the spoon, try to do that so that it looks like we are going to make pumpkin ridges there. It may not look like a pumpkin right now, but we need to put this into the fridge and chill it down for at least half an hour, and then we will be able to sculpt or mold it further that looks like a pumpkin. Okay guys, what I've been trying to do here is, once your cake and frosting is chilled, take some water and dip your fingers in it and you can try to smooth it out. Now that the frosting is kind of stiffen up a little bit, it works well when you try to smoothen it out with wet fingers. So I'm just going to do this all over the cake so that everything is smoothened out and it looks more like a pumpkin. Okay guys, after smoothing it out, our pumpkin is pretty much ready. For the stem, I just took the real stem out of a real pumpkin and I'm just going to put it on top. You could do it from a fondant, but this gives more realistic look. Alright, it's time to cut it and see how it looks inside. If you guys liked my spice cake that looks like a pumpkin, don't forget to check out my all other cakes playlist. Give me a thumbs up and make sure to hit that subscribe button so that I will see you in another video. Until then, bye.